have an inner critic, and that inner critic constantly tells us that we're not doing well enough, we should be doing more, we shouldn't have done that, we need to do this, we need to do that. The inner critic criticizes us. It's that little person sitting on your shoulder telling you where you've gone wrong and how you should do better. It's a part of your mind. It's a part of you that may or may not be healthy. We all have an inner critic to some degree, and the you in the driving seat, the conscious you of today, may have good control over this inner critic. It may just here and there pop up and say, oh, you should have done that, try this, or maybe this isn't going to work, maybe try that. The inner critic can actually be very helpful if it's well balanced. Others have a significant inner critic which can take over their lives and greatly affect them day to day. It can be crippling, causing anxiety and self-consciousness and loss of confidence. The inner critic can say, why are you bothering to try? It's pointless. You're useless. There's no point in doing that. You should give up. You are ugly. You are slow. You are stupid. You're worthless. Some people's inner critic can be especially intrusive, and then others, their inner critic can just be a mild annoyance. Either way, I'm going to explain an exercise to help deal with your inner critic and make friends with it a bit more and show the inner critic that you, the conscious you of today, is in control. First, I'll just explain how the inner critic can be formed. In younger years, if you haven't quite received enough emotional support or excessive criticism from others or family members, or lacked any emotional validation in younger years, or if excessive expectations have been placed on you, extremely high targets that you've been expected to meet, and yet you've never been able to meet them in order to please someone, then your inner critic can be especially strong, because you've had to push extra hard in the past in order to meet these expectations, or you've never been up to the mark as it is anyway. So in these instances where you've always perceived to have fallen short, an inner critic can step forward in your mind which exists to help you to succeed. The part of you that is the inner critic, it's there thinking that it's doing it for your own good. It believes it's helping you, trying to make you work harder, do it again, or give up because it's pointless, and protect you from more emotional harm. But the inner critic needs guidance from you if it's especially strong or unbalanced. The inner critic needs to be tamed, and the way to do that is to communicate with it. And then, day to day, you can take better control and autonomy of your own life and move forward and be able to do tasks without constant criticism from the inner critic, and be able to look in the mirror without feeling like you fall short, and be more sure of your own achievements and what you're doing is worthwhile. There's no need for anxiety anymore. So here is the method to help communicate and make friends with and deal with your inner critic. Now, this is a form of Gestalt Therapy, and the way to do it is to lay or sit down and close your eyes. Imagine that you're looking in a mirror, and you, looking in the mirror, are your inner critic, and the you see in the mirror is you, the one being criticized. So, playing the role of the inner critic, look into the mirror at your image and criticize yourself. Now, in this way, we are bringing to the surface those actual criticisms that the inner critic has, and therefore we can consciously identify them. Instead of being bugged by a feeling of worthlessness or futility in our day-to-day lives that our inner critic can sometimes feel like, we bring it to the conscious mind and we hear the inner critic say it, and then we can respond later. So, being your inner critic, criticize yourself. So, my inner critic might say, "You are a failure. You're not trying hard enough. You are a bad mother. You don't spend enough time with your children. You worry too much. Why are you afraid of this? Why are you afraid of that? Your work will never get you anywhere. You're not nice enough to your partner. You should pay him more attention. He will leave you." Now, there's just some examples. Now, in your visualization, keeping your eyes closed, switch roles. Now, as you look in the mirror, you are you, the conscious you of today, and in the mirror you see your inner critic, and now is your chance to respond. So tell the inner critic, without making excuses, tell them the reasons why you are the way you are, and why you accept that about yourself, and how you're moving forward successfully. So I might say to the inner critic, "I am trying hard with my work. It will be successful, and this is why. I have had success so far, and I'll continue to build on that. I don't need your criticism. Also, I am a good mother. I consciously put time aside to be with my children every single day. I look after them well and I listen to them. I don't need your criticism. Also, when I have fears and anxiety, it's often due to my inner critic. It's due to you. And I don't need your criticism. I'm also doing inner work on my anxiety. I don't need your criticism. I put time aside to be with my partner. In fact, I've organised to have a meal with him soon. We do spend time together and we love each other very much. He's not going to leave me. I'm sure of that. We have good communication and I will continue to work on that. I don't need your criticism." And then you can switch roles if you like again and have the inner critic continue. The inner critic might say, "But you always fail. You're going to fail in what you do." And you can switch roles again and say, "That is untrue. I'm trying my best. Look how far I've come. I'm present in each moment, and I will always try my best. I have a strong support structure around me. I don't need your criticism." Now relax for a few more moments, and then open your eyes. Now you may gain a sense that you didn't realise that your inner critic had such criticisms. The inner critic really brought it forward, verbalised it, and now it's in the conscious mind. You realise what the inner critic has been saying. And in this way, responding to the inner critic, you can correct the inner critic more accurately. Because before, instead of emotions and feelings bubbling up and making you feel bad day to day, you have directly addressed the inner critic and given it reasons why it does not need to criticize. Another thing you can do while in the visualization and looking in the mirror is to say to the inner critic, "I am in control." The me of today, say your name. I am in control. I don't need your criticism. You are no longer needed. Now over time, the inner critic should start to silence, and it should give its power over to you. The inner critic will start to trust you. You in the driving seat, that part of mind which is you today, the conscious you of today. And the inner critic will start to step back. Now, as I say, it's healthy to have some degree of inner critic, because let's say you're doing something that's slightly reckless or dangerous, the inner critic might step forward and say, that's not beneficial to do, you need to cease that activity. But when the inner critic is hampering your life, lowering your confidence, and making it so that you cannot achieve the things you want to achieve and do the things you want to do, then the inner critic is a detriment to us. It's unbalanced and requires healing. Now, I hope this method helps you to make friends with and heal your inner critic so that you can move forward with the strength and success and happiness that you deserve.